Hey guys, welcome back to another Thursday night Twighlight video race ride recap. This week we're back at the refuge as it's been raining all day on Thursday, and due to some possible wet roads out at the air center, we didn't really want to run a short style crit course due to more corners that leads to possibly more chances for wrecking. So we came out here and we just wanted to do 4 laps, or the 5 laps of this course, as we did at the beginning of this series. Now, I didn't get much of a warm-up in before this ride. We kind of went out and did a few laps of the bike shop there as everybody was kind of getting ready, and kind of rode over here and put in a little bit of effort here and there and wherever. But nothing too major, so kind of what I wanted to do was use kind of the first few laps of this race as kind of a hard warm-up, wake up the legs, get a good workout in, and kind of come whatever may as terms of how this ride will turn out. So let's go ahead and hop forward into the ride itself. So if we can see here, this is kind of the start of lap 1, and we're about 7 seconds into the ride. As I forgot to start my GoPro right at the start. But what I did essentially was I took off and I did the first 2 laps kind of at threshold, above threshold. I averaged 280 watts, normalized 282, just to kind of get a little bit of fatigue in the leg, to kind of simulate what it's like to race on tired legs, and maybe it's kind of simulate more of the end of a crit. So we'll kind of see how this plays out, and I think this ultimately works out pretty well in my favor, because I've just been doing 25 mile an hour, just pulling the group around. This is kind of representative of the whole 2 laps pretty much that goes by. But as we hop forward here, we can see kind of towards the end of the second lap, we're coming through this final turn before heading onto the start-finish straight. And apparently I wasn't going fast enough up this hill, and I was probably looking tired, so Mr. Mason here decided to attack me and kind of go over the top, forcing me to do like 1100 watts, 1123. So, and he is rolling hard. We're up to 30 mile an hour on this like slight 1% grade hill, and he is motoring, just wanting to just roll. And I kind of laughed at him when we got up here, and I just was like, you know, if you would have waited like to the start finish line, I probably would have just like let you pull off to the front and take a pull if you wanted. But hey, whatever. If you want to attack, that's fine by me. So I kind of, it's a good representation. So I had like 16-ish minutes above threshold into a 1100 watt sprint. So that's kind of good to know that I can do that right now, as I have my first actual crit race of the season coming up here soon. So just a little bit later, we kind of take this take the turn onto the first lap, or first corner, and I attack again. My heart rate has not come down very much. It dropped from probably 187, 188 to like 179. But in an effort to punish Mr. David there for attacking over top of me, I decided to attack over top of him, and we kind of rolled like that as Hank there moves to the front, as neither one of us want to really pull. Kind of go a little bit further down this straight, and we're 20 minutes in. Hank's avoiding working, so off I go again. That is I think 3 attacks over 600 watts, 2 attacks over 1,000 watts, and I go to the front and I just hit it hard again. So why not? Sorry, 3 attacks over 1,000 watts, 4 attacks over 600, and I just keep it rolling until they kind of catch back on, and I let off and let them back on. So kind of here we go through the turn again. Leave a sprinter's gap. And this is kind of not really a fantastic attack, really. It's like 600 watts. Kind of realize that a gap, go 1,000 watts again. So, as you can tell, I've made this race super hard for me. But at this point in time, David's taking a whole lot of pulls, and Hank's with me on my wheel. He said at the beginning of this, all I'm going to do, my only strategy is to sit on your wheel for as long as I can and see how it all turns out at the end of the day. So, here we go. Oh no, this was not that attack. So I attack, everybody kind of comes back together. David takes the unsafe turn. We kind of take it wide and neutralize just a little bit. And David sets up. I go again. If you've noticed, there's a pattern. Anytime the pace lets off, I'm doing 1,000 watts and going to the front and pulling really hard just to make people work. As you can see here, there's some runners running the opposite direction on the course, which is good because we would have had some major issues with traffic because we're doing 30 mile an hour and they're doing 6. So having to pass by cars doing 6 mile an hour. This is kind of one of the downsides of this course, but you don't want to be buzzing runners at 30 mile an hour either, so that's kind of a thing. Let's see here. What goes on? Oh, yes. This is when I attacked. We broke away. This is where Hank said, I'm just going to sit on your wheel. I flicked him through here because I was losing steam and I just needed like 10 seconds to recover. So I go, hey, go to the front, pull, we'll break away from David. He's not coming back. This is it. So I put in the real hard dig there to just send, and then I kind of pull through here. So I send, hold the gap open, have Hank pull through for just a second to where my legs and lungs can catch a little bit of a break. I drop back down to about 180, and then we're right back over threshold. And we kind of play nicely through this until this here is the final lap. We're 40 minutes in. Hank attacks me because I've been on the front doing all this work, which is a great attack by him. It was luckily the heart rate was kind of low, so getting back on terms wasn't too bad, but it definitely took a little something out of the legs. At this point in time, before this, I've been kind of doing what I did before, and I'd slam all the way over to the right and just pretty much slow it down, all the way down to the point where it's probably infuriating to be behind because I'll do 15 mile an hour. I don't care, or 10 mile an hour. I'm gonna make somebody else come to the front. So here we go again. I'm kind of just messing with my gears, shifting up, shifting down, shifting up, shifting down, just making him think I'm going to attack at any time. He's got a mirror on his helmet, so he doesn't have to look over his shoulder, so he can just slam into the gutter and just use his eyes to look up, which is super smart. So he attacked, said that's kind of my bullet, I think is kind of the way he phrased it. But he did, we did still have a good sprint for the finish here. Spoiler alert, I did not go to breakaway. I just try to get my heart rate as low as possible. And once again, I don't care if we're doing 15 mile an hour. That's fine by me, so us doing 19 is perfectly sufficient. And once again, more vehicles on the road, which I kind of miss the air center because there's none of that. But hopefully we'll be back at the air center, or hopefully we will be at the air center this week for stage 11. I don't know how much longer this is going to be able to run because it's starting to get darker earlier, but hey, we're going to run it till we can't. And we're doing 20 mile an hour up the hill here. It's just not hard enough to drop me off the wheel yet. And kind of similar to the race with Nico, one of the few times I actually beat him, I kind of go here at the top of the hill, leave a little sprinter's gap, and we'll see how this plays out. And here goes my attack. Not much left in the tank. 1,000 watts, and that's all I got, which is a surefire reminder to myself that I am not a sprinter. Granted, it was 1,000 watts for probably 5 seconds or so, 6 seconds, but it was not much. Hank said he got up out of the saddle to sprint, just to kind of show things off and be supportive. So definitely, if you enjoyed the video, definitely like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.